door a little bit here. Hey, what's up, everybody? We got NFL Week 2. It is Check Down Champs, your host, Donuts, and my man Hulk with you, putting together some pick'em parlays, putting together some touchdown bets, and just all around lining your pockets. David, I was telling, actually, to the audience, I was telling David this morning, I stayed awake till 2 a.m. trying to pretend I'm 20 years old and like learning how to use TikTok. An absolute disaster of a choice for a 40-year-old man with 2 sick kids in the house. I am in shambles today. So my man David Hulk Betts is going to be honestly leading the freaking charge today. I'm going to need him to step up in a big way because I got nothing up here. It's like a pinball machine, just things bouncing around, no coherent thoughts.
Listen, I'm the epitome of the Tom Brady role here. You're Drew Bledsoe. You take a week off, and next thing you know, my career just takes off. I'm to the moon, and everybody's watching the show, and they're like, I wonder if Donuts is going to come. It doesn't matter if he's here or not because, we got Tom Brady.
Oh, no, dude. You're getting likened to Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, that's it. You're the Drew Bledsoe in this scenario. Older, not as good looking.
Yeah,
far.
I'm falling apart.
I mean, listen, everybody's less good looking than Tom Brady, right? Speaking of Tom Brady, is he coming to the Dolphins? What's going on here? I know we've been said some stuff about Tua. I don't think he's actually going to retire yet, but I do think it's a possibility and something he might have to consider. But I don't think he's actually going to do it. But
yeah, I don't think it's happening. But
no.
Geez, dude. I mean, these are some bad ones. You know, like you got to worry about them at this point. Like these hits are mounting up, and they're mounting up in a very close timeline to the other ones, and they're not just like some guy. Listen, there's all sorts of varying levels of concussions, and
his are bad.
Man, his just seem like every time he gets one, it ain't just like it's a week, a little dizzy, some headaches, light bothers him, and it gets his balance back in a day or two, and he's good. No, dude, it's like he gets these and. Like he has recurring effects. Do you remember Javid? I think it was Javid Best. Do you remember him for the Lions? He had that nasty concussion, I believe maybe it was second year in the league or rookie season, and it knocked him out of football for like 18 months. I don't even know if he ended up coming back, but he ongoing for like 2 years had recurring concussions. Awful experience for anybody who's ever gone through something like that. I did back in 2012, and I had headaches on and off. And I had issues with like light and sound and stuff for like 3 years, dude. So like someone like Tua, who's continuously had these massive brain injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude, I'm concerned. I'm concerned about watching somebody like that continue to play football. I like him a lot as a human being too, which is just tough to watch him go out there and just absorb these types of hits, man.
Everybody gives Mike McDaniels a lot of crap at times, and maybe even rightfully so. But I loved watching Tua walk over. And did you see Mike McDaniels grabs his head and like kisses him on the side of the head? It was just like, to me, it was like such a sincere moment that like this, they actually care about each other. These guys on these teams are really like families and stuff. And everybody just wants Tua to be okay. And all these players get it that yes, it's a business. Yes, they get to do something and they get paid millions of dollars to do it, but nobody deserves, to have a negative quality of life moving forward. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully Tua's okay, but I definitely think he's going to be out a couple of weeks now.
Oh, for sure. I think it's going to be a minute.
Also, another big injury news, Jordan Love, which will lead into some plays potentially later on because they're against the beloved Indianapolis Colts this week. But I saw a thing that said he's going to be out like 4 to 6 weeks. Ooh. And now the coach this week is like, oh yeah, he's day-to-day, questionable this week. And I'm like, I don't know. I think he's but like there's new rules that they can't just lie about that stuff. So I think he's either blatantly breaking the rules and lying, and that's kind of gamesmanship or whatever, or somehow they're stupid enough to maybe run him out there and risk him. But like, I don't think there's, I'll say this, I don't think there's any chance that he plays. However, the fact that they're even talking about it as a possibility tells me one of those two things. So I don't know. The guy just signed a huge contract. It'd be silly to roll him out there. Colts are going to win this week.
What's up to chat today? Thanks for tuning in early, man. Look at this, man. We got people in here. I didn't even realize they were chatting before the show even went live, saying hello as they were just hanging out in our channels. Thank you very much for doing that. Before we get going, we're about to dive in. We got underdog plays. We got sportsbook parlays. We're going down the list, man. We're going to take care of y'all in the best way that we can. Few house cleaning items before we begin, okay? Hulk Bets, he is on Twitter, the Hulk Bets, and on YouTube. Make sure you give him a follow, retweet, like, subscribe, all those good things. And of course, myself, DFS and Donuts on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube just the same. We've got links down below in our description sections. Check down Champs VIP access to our own personal picks on our own platforms. And hopefully you guys give those a look, and we'll hopefully line your pockets today with this free content as well. Just do us a huge favor and just support us freely. Okay. We're here giving you our time. You're here giving us your time. If we could just get a like there on the way out the door, that would be phenomenal and be extremely helpful. So let's get to it, David. Where do you want to begin, dude? Anywhere specific you're like, man, I want to jump on this right now?
I mean, there's a play on the board I like a lot in Derrick Henry's touchdown this week. I think Derrick Henry's in a prime spot for a touchdown. His anytime touchdown is phenomenal. I believe it's gotten a little juicy. I alerted it earlier in the week when it wasn't so bad, and now it's like maybe like a minus 170 on the books. However, I do like parlaying Derrick Henry touchdown with the Ravens money line. You get like a minus 135 on the sports books. If you're playing it on the pick'em apps like Underdog, just take his touchdowns and parlay it with something else. But yeah, Derrick Henry's a guy that I also think is worth the little two touchdown sprinkle this week. 2 touchdown sprinkle, and in the first touchdown sprinkle, Derrick Henry's in a prime spot. Yeah, you could pair him with Jordan Mason there.
Still got 2 touchdowns.
Lot of options. Of options out here today for Derrick Henry this week. It's literally Derrick Henry's going to be a guy he always, to some extent, always been this way, but more so now than ever, he's very game script dependent. Derrick Henry is in a great spot this week. This is the game script to target Derrick Henry.
Yeah, there's a lot to like there. I mean, Ravens at home. All right. There's a few things to look for when you're looking at touchdown scores. All right. You want to look for a large spread. You want to look for a higher total, and you want to look for a home team. Those have been strong correlations for 2 positions for like a decade, tight end and running backs. And they score all their touchdowns mostly in the red zone unless they bust loose from outside the 20. So we've got a spot here where the Ravens, nice sizable 8.5 point favorite. They are at home. The only thing we're missing here is the total being high.
Sure.
I think that's mostly and clearly is indicative or indicated by the spread being 8 points and the total only being 41. If you go look at the team totals, off the top of my head, was that like 25-17? So we're still looking at 3+ touchdowns for the Ravens. It's the freaking Raiders who are the problem here for the game total. So there's a lot to love from D. Henry. But I agree. I mean, you can't play the straight touchdown bet at this point. He is somebody I'm on as well, but you just can't. You can't play this. That's a garbage line. So maybe look at like doing first half team touchdown, something like that might be interesting as well. Should probably be able to get that at plus odds, and let's see if I can find it real quick while I'm chatting.
I mean, what do you think about? I will point out one thing: the line started at either 9.5 potentially. It was up there. It was at least 8.5 even last night when I made a video, and now it's 8. Tell me, you have any thoughts on that?
Not too much. Not until we get around that like 7-point barrier.
Okay.
I'd like to see where all the money is too.
So even the moving doesn't really concern you at all.
I just
surprised. I mean,
it's listen. Baltimore's just going to blow them out.
Yeah,
I don't care what any sharps or anybody is doing or where the public money is.
Yeah.
Just because that stuff is, those betting signals are there doesn't mean I have to, confide in them or anything.
This is a smash spot for him.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. I could care less if the sharpest better in the world is saying take the Raiders to not only cover but to win on their okay, good luck, enjoy yourself. I'm taking Derrick Henry touchdowns either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Derrick Henry first half touchdown plus 140. I think that if we are finding a bet for Derrick Henry this week, and that would probably be my angle. I think the Ravens start hot. I think they come out the gate at home after a tough week 1 loss on the road, Thursday Night Football in Arrowhead. Now they're returning to Baltimore, and they're facing, an inferior team, and the Raiders. Derrick Henry, I think, can score, in the first half here with ease. So I think that's my bet for this game. That's a great place to start. I'm glad you started there.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right, where do you want to take it next?
Let's just go down the list of games and see if we can find any information on each one. It's nice and easy, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's use DK Sportsbook, and I'll just go right down the line. We've got 49ers and Vikings as the next game, and I'll start us off here. Very similar situation where we're looking at Jordan Mason essentially being CMC light. He's going to get a billion opportunities as he did in week 1. Touchdowns. Potentially an abundant amount of opportunities here if we've got a decent game. The dude had 5 red zone touches in a spot start on week 1. Wild opportunity. So Jordan Mason, anytime touchdown in play. Deebo Samuel, anytime touchdown in play. I think he has great odds, plus 105 I saw last night. The receiving yards prop is interesting to me for Deebo Samuel as well. And on the Vikings side, it's Justin Jefferson or bust, really. I don't think you can rely on anybody on that side. I don't think I'm interested at all in the spread, the total, or the money line. I do think it's a tough spot, always going on the road for your first time in the season. And the Niners, after Monday Night Football on a short week, are traveling to Minnesota. So I am a little concerned about the game itself. I think that is literally like trap game 101. Vikings coming off a loss, now returning home. Niners, short week after Monday Night Football, big win against the Jets, are now traveling on a short week to Minnesota against an inferior team. It just smells like a trap.
Yeah, Vikings won big in week 1, though. So I think coming off a loss, maybe I would be more concerned. I mean, they are going on the road, but the 49ers are just such a better team regardless that I don't really have any concern about the money line. Not really interested in the spread or anything like that. It's just, I'm just not a big spread guy. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. Yeah, I like the idea of a parlay. I put out like a 5 or 6 team parlay with all money lines this week. So, and they're ones I chose. I don't have any concerns about the 49ers losing this game. I mean, of course, anything can happen. So, don't take that as a lock by any means, but anything can happen. Sunday. Yeah, any given Sunday absolutely is the thing. But this 49ers team is just so much better. I don't care if Darnold looked good. I think that Minnesota will be fine this year. I'm not saying they'll be bad, but they are overmatched in this game. So I think that you can do an anytime touchdown for Mason. If you want it, do the same thing. You roll it out with Derrick Henry, that same thing we did with Derrick Henry, and take the 49ers money line to win. And I don't think there's a lot of other spots. I really like Brandon Ayuk's rebound spot here at a plus 145. I was on him last week. He dropped a touchdown, literally dropped the touchdown. So I think that Ayuk's an interesting person to target this week and a bounce back spot, much like somebody like a Garrett Wilson. But yeah, I don't know.
What I like out of him is that the snap rate's going to go up.
Yeah.
And the lines seem to not be accounting for that. Like I looked into it last night. I was up. I told you I was up to like.
He was their best receiver last year by the end of the season.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why he got paid there. So he played 60% of the snaps, just 60%. Like if that goes up to like a normal like 80-ish% or so or higher, the dude's going to pop off one of these games. And I think we're getting a discount here. I mean, look at his receptions line at 4.5. These lines are what we had last week in his first game, where not everybody was entirely sure if he was playing or how limited he was going to be. So why are we getting 4.5 receptions again? So that 4.5 minus 105 to the over is very interesting to me. If you didn't want to try to take, risk needing him 5 receptions, well, maybe he gets a couple intermediate throws, 20 plus yard catches, and bang, he's going to hit this over 59.5 pretty easily as well. So I think there's some interesting spots that you can target for Ayuk. I'm right there with you.
What's Debo's rushing and receiving prop? Sorry, I know you just went up, and I think I think it's under rushing.
Usually under rushing.
He's a guy I like looking at his rushing and receiving.
He had 8 carries last week.
I know.
Wild.
That's what I'm saying. If they're going to use him like that, all it takes is for him to break one of those ones off to get like 3/4 of the way to his prop. So I think that's something that I always just
84.5. That's kind of high.
It is kind of high. Yeah. I mean, I would.
You know what? Oh my gosh. Why is that? So I think I just saw his receiving yards at like 50 something. So they're saying
30 yards rushing. If he gets 6 carries.
This is bizarre. Hold on though. Because his rushing prop, you're paying quite the tax. Look at Debo, 22.5. All right,
Okay.
you ready? So
Yep.
I'll bring it up on screen so we don't have to try to remember. And I'm going to go to receiving. Got to be careful
52,
here.
54?
Now, these are always taxed a little. So if everyone's ever paid attention, like last week, we cashed out Bijan Robinson over 94.5 rush receiving combined. But like if you added up his two props, it was like 88 yards or so. So you're paying the combo tax. However, I think this might be a little too high. Let's do some quick math.
78.
Yes, 78.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's still 6 yards.
It's 6 yards. I mean, it's something. It's a tax.
That's usually the normal, though. That's the normal. I thought there was a larger.
So it's not as bad. Yeah. I think you thought his line, and maybe I did too, was like 52.5.
I did.
Or something
I
like
did.
that.
I thought it was going to be like 70 for the combined. Okay.
And the tough part about, I'll be honest and say that the 49ers are a team I try to stay pretty narrow with because there's just so many options. You know, it's easy to get lost in like this guy or this guy or this guy. Picking the one guy in any given week, it's kind of like Detroit a little bit. Like picking the one guy out in any given week that's going to be the guy you want to target or something is going to be challenging to do sometimes, you know, unless we see Ayuk get back to his old snap rate and his old self. And then I think he's the clear receiving target leader. But at any given time, Kittle can come out like he did last year and get 3 touchdowns. You know what I mean? It's like, what the heck? Like it's hard to predict in this team where they have so many good options.
Let's move on to game number 3, and we'll go back to the NFL odds page here. We have the Saints at the Cowboys. Oh boy, this could be a bloodbath. I honestly think that the Cowboys returning home with a $240 million man could be a fun time for the Cowboys fans this week. Think the Saints had that cupcake week 1 matchup against Carolina.
Yeah.
And maybe just feeling a little too good about themselves.
Zeke looked good last week. I'll start by saying that. He looked good for what we expected.
Camp photos?
No, not really. I mean, I saw him running through the pads where they were like,
gosh, man,
the pads,
they must have taken the worst photos of him all off season. Like he literally looked like a donut with shoulder pads on.
You know how it is. They got to get clicks and
every
stuff.
time.
But he looked good last week. Like he got out in open space a couple times. Yeah. He had a couple of one-on-one opportunities. I was watching the all 22 footage because I got suckered into buying that this year for the Red Zone channel. And so I was watching some of that and he looked good in space. Like he had a couple opportunities where he went one-on-one with a defender and was able to make them miss. So, you know, he didn't get a ton of touches last week, but he did get the touchdown. So I think that it's interesting, especially if your narrative comes true, Mitch, where you think that the Cowboys are firmly in the lead in this game, to take a look at the Zeke Elliott touchdown. I actually think him and CD could even get there any given week. So especially this
much
week.
Better odds here on DK for Zeke. CD was a lot better earlier this week.
Yeah, 130.
I got him at minus 115 on like Wednesday. So he must be getting some public push here probably from Twitter and stuff.
What about if you put the two of them together?
If we put, well, let me remove. I got to remove her.
Yeah,
I was trying to leave her up so it would make it easier for people.
But, you were? Oh, I'm sorry.
Man, it doesn't matter.
If they got it by now, you know.
Well, I'd have to go to the SGP. I'm not doing all this garbage.
Oh, so I know. I'm sorry.
Put those two together. It would be like plus 180 or so.
Listen. I know you warned everybody, but you can't phone it in like that. All right, you got to throw a tiny bit of effort in. I'm not asking you to get up and run a marathon, a 5K or something. Just move your finger a little bit.
Feels like it.
Move it.
All right. Same game parlay, touchdown scores, CD and Zeke.
There we go.
Plus 250. Right. There you go.
Not bad. I mean, if the game goes the way you think it does, that's a pretty reasonable expectation there.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think my favorite bet in this game, listen, so you can't get CD at good odds here anymore. If you can on another book, please, by all means. But first team touchdown, 2+ touchdowns, and first half touchdown are all in play for CD Lamb. I think that we are about to see just the alpha returning and doing it in front of the home crowd after not scoring, not being real, honestly, not even just being needed. He just wasn't needed in week 1. Yeah. They didn't throw. I think they threw a football once in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, they're up by like 3 touchdowns. Cleveland had the ball for 10 of the last 15 minutes somehow. So I just think it's going to be one of those games where, you focus on the alpha doing alpha things. And beyond that, maybe a play like you mentioned, like Zeke, if they're at home, if they're going to win, man, look at these different markets they've added.
Well, if they don't throw the ball in the second half, like last week, if they get ahead, and they don't really have to throw it too much, then I think that's an interesting angle to take. Here's my question to you.
That's also why I liked Derrick Henry. It's the first half touchdown at plus 140, CD Lamb. Sure. First half touchdown, plus 165.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. Is there any So Derrick Henry to me is kind of the opposite of CD. Derrick
Okay.
Henry absolutely could score in the first half. I don't want to say that, but what I'm saying is like if we think that the Ravens are ahead and then they're just running out the game basically,
Mhm.
Derrick Henry very much could get his touchdown in the second half. So I kind
Sure.
of get more why you like the CD first half, but then I almost feel like it's the opposite for Derrick Henry. So is there like something you're looking for when you target the first half, or is it more just you want those good odds?
Derrick Henry, I think, will be kid gloved this year. I think the Ravens are aiming for the Super Bowl. I think
They're
Derrick
gonna
Henry
rest
at this
them.
point in his
Yeah,
career
sure.
is not a stat patter. And I think we're going to see a lot of games where he has 12, 13 carries, a touchdown, 2 touchdowns. And then if they're up, I think we're going to see Justice Hill. We're going to see Keaton Mitchell when he's healthy again, working back in. I think they're going to go out of the way to get them some touches and just protect him. Because,
Makes sense.
they're thinking playoffs. Why wouldn't they be at this point?
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. I think we saw that in week 1 with Justin Hill getting so many touches. Now, Derrick Henry was a little bit game scripted out of that game, too.
He was.
Last week was not as friendly to Derrick Henry as this week is, but I don't think you're wrong there. I was thinking about that when I saw his rushing total at 40 or 17 and a half attempts,
Mhm.
and he only ended up with like 13 in week 1. I think he gets a little closer this week, but I agree. There's probably not too many games where they're going to pound him 20 plus times because, Justice Hill looks okay. And if they're really ahead, like, why would they? So I think the best spot to target Derrick Henry this year in a rushing attempts fashion would probably be in a close game where they actually do need him to pound the rock. But other than that, yeah, they'll probably save his legs for the playoffs. So, all right. I got nothing else for this game. I don't think.
Okay. We'll move
Derrick
forward.
Henry, yeah,
Chargers.
CeeDee Lamb's he's the target. That's it.
Chargers at Panthers.
Woo!
Got a question for you here.
What do you got? I got one.
Yeah, we had, I think I read 4 red zone carries for J.K. Dobbins. He also had like 5 broken tackles. Looked absolutely electric. Had 2 carries over 20 plus yards. There's a lot to like from him, but I will preface this.
He was out touched.
The fact that not just that, but he's coming off like so many major injuries.
Yeah,
that I think regardless of his effectiveness in the offense from game to game, that I think he's going to get the kid glove treatment as well. Does that concern you as far as props go?
I don't think. I will say 2 things. I don't think that the risk of injury is always there with JK.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they treat him like that because he's not a Derrick Henry. He's good, don't get me wrong, and his potential is there, but he's never been like incredible. He always has looked good and then he gets hurt. Incredible? I mean, like, okay.
J.K. Dobbins literally looked like the best running back in the NFL before his injuries.
No.
The guy averaged almost 6 yards per carry and had like.
Who do you think he is? Devin Achane?
Oh, boy.
Devin Achane is incredible.
Boy.
I think J.K. Dobbins does not. Listen, is it my turn? Is it my turn or not?
You can't drop a bomb like that and hope I
don't think it's a bomb. Listen, is it really a bomb?
Gosh.
I don't think it's a bomb.
You let us know. Who here's been watching football long enough?
A surprising bomb?
I think he was a top 3 running back in the NFL before injury.
Is there anything to back that up?
My eyes and his stats.
All right. Anyways, what I was saying.
Carry on.
Here's my bet, by the way, for you. J.K. Dobbins, I alerted that at a plus 160 anytime touchdown, though.
Here we go. Here goes the chat.
Okay, one person. 5 to 7. All right, that's not top 3. No, that's not top 3.
It is close.
That's not top 3.
I was curious.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd. Anyways, J.K. Dobbins, who I like this week, put him out into the VIP picks at a plus 160. Only a plus 130 now, 135. I like J.K. Dobbins to score a touchdown. There we go. All right, wait. You're going to put all these other people up here. And make sure you put up Tyler's comment.
I'll get to that. Put up
Tyler's. Yeah, all right.
Can I look up some odds for his touchdown?
Tyler.
Here
Tyler.
we go.
You're on team Hulk, so he'll get to you in a half hour. Sorry, Tyler.
Moving on, next game.
Yeah, exactly. 3 Kings said he was a beast at Ohio State, which might be true, but that's not what we're talking about.
Let me find this.
Everybody's a beast in college. There it is.
Tyler clearly did not watch football.
All right, here we go.
Clearly.
Now, Tyler, see what happens? Now they attack you.
It's okay, Tyler. I'm gonna put you on a timeout and chat.
He's like, it's okay,
Now they
Tyler, if you
attack
didn't
you.
watch football. It's okay that Tyler doesn't know
Can we
football.
talk about the
Tyler,
odds?
you know football.
Can we
can
talk about the odds? My
Sure.
gosh. Plus 150, FanDuel, plus 150 ESPN. Look at the differential. I mean, Caesars minus 105. We're getting plus 125, BetMGM. So if people still want this touchdown bet, you can get it on FanDuel at plus 150, which is very healthy odds. Looks like 10 cents off what Hulk had talked about earlier. So it is there, but is the last beacon of hope. Looks like everything else is starting to drop.
There's always a concern in this offense with the Gus bust there. So that's the one thing that I have. That's my only concern about the J.K. Dobbins play is just that Gus did outtouch him. He is a bigger back, but J.K. is clearly the best back here. I mean, essentially Harbaugh just grabbed the Ravens backfield from a couple of years ago and implemented it into his system. I also like, I don't even know if I should say it, but I also like, I'll say it because it's moved. Actually, the VIP got a ton of boost on this one. The Justin
what's
Herbert,
the over under chat on the amount of times Dave is going to mention VIP? We're at 3 right now. We're about 3 into 15 games.
All right, but listen, how many times are we going to pull up the tool too? All right, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Golly.
Anyways, VIP got it at Justin Herbert, 220.5 passing yards to the under. What's it at now? See what you did? Yeah, look up Herbert's passing yards. Just curious.
At
200.
Let's go ahead and look up what his passing yards props are on all the books right now.
Jabroni. Oh, if only I had a tool that I could go ahead, look him up.
I didn't even mention the site.
Yeah, okay. Because I can't just slap VIP graphic on the thing. I say it. I talk. Anyway,
where's my VIP graphic? What are you talking about? We
Your
share
site.
the same overlay.
Go to the site. No, I mean the site. I just mean the site is the selling point. It's a great site, by the way. That's neither here nor there. It's a better site than Mitch is a host. How about that?
Fair.
All right, wait. Look up, though. Seriously. Pull up the Justin Herbert.
No, I can't. I just got yelled at.
No, pull it up on the site. I do want to see it. I do want to know.
Now you want to know. Well, you could get your cell phone and do it the old-fashioned way because you don't have the tool. Yeah, look it up. Go ahead. Open 5 sports books later and tell me what you think.
Our TIFF is getting in the way of our good, beautiful, fabulous content that we normally produce. All right. So pull it up. Pull it up. I am curious, though. So it's 200 now, which is kind of crazy.
I must spit my coffee out.
That's a big drop. So I think that's
what am I looking up here?
Thing. Justin Herbert's passing yardage. So I like the J.K. Dobbins play. I think it's always a risk that Gus steals the touchdown from him. But J.K. can also, get one from outside the red zone too. And I think it's a little bit of correlation here with the way the game script's going to go and Justin Herbert's passing yardage. Sheesh.
Okay. Yeah.
Look at a middling.
Did you talk about a different line earlier?
I just like J.K. Dobbins touchdown and Justin Herbert's passing yardage.
Gotcha.
Those are the 2 plays I like from this game.
Ooh, wow, man. Honestly, if you parlay those, you're going to get like you do that on FanDuel, first off, and then just take the 200. Okay, now we're doing it.
200's pretty low, though. Hold on. 200's low. I mean, it's dropped. I mean, just look at it. It's dropped quite a bit. It's dropped 20 yards. 20.
It was at 220, you're saying?
220 is what it was at.
Okay.
It's coming down. It was at like the next day or a couple days was like 215.
I'm going to go here and let's work together on this one because if Dobbins is plus 150 to score a tutty on FanDuel, like you are getting a great head start here. Now we go to the passing props. We're going to go alt pass line for Justin Herbert. I mean, what are you thinking here then? If you're trying to put together a W,
I think I don't like it because I think that this game script is. I think Herbert can get some yardage, but I don't think he's going to need a lot of yardage. I think that Harbaugh wanted to pound the ball in this offense anyways. And if they're going to have success with it, he's not going to need to throw too much. I think Herbert gets what?
You want the under?
Yes. I was doing the under 220. Sorry.
I was like, I don't get this correlation, but
no.
Cook, bro, cook. What do you got?
All right. That's why I was like, all right, where's he going? I was like, we can middle it, I guess.
And then I started listening. I'm like, oh, hold
on. It was
under
220 and a half, and now it's 200, so it's a little bit trickier to play. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I think the 203 is okay, but I definitely don't like it as much because now you're getting down to where I think he ends up. I think he legitimately ends in that like 180 to 200 range this week.
What about pass attempts? Oh, we can't parlay that on FanDuel.
What?
Let me try on DK.
Honestly,
remember this last year? How annoying this was. Like,
well, it changes from week to week. I feel like honestly, I feel like it's like. it changes from what you know what the correlation is, J.K. Dobbins and then Bryce Young passing yardage. Ugh. But I mean, that would be your game script.
Oh gosh, Bryce.
I know. I'm not saying to do it.
Listen, I kind of like Bryce for a bounce back a little bit.
You do?
Well, then do it. I was looking at his over 178 earlier this week.
Well, then now that would be the correlation.
I don't want that. Let me see what it is over here.
I know. I hear you. We'll do the outline.
185. Oh, I could 175 it.
Yeah, outline the 175. See what you get. See what we see.
Let me check. Let's see what we see.
That's what we do, guys. When you're building out a oh yeah, J-Step, I'm with you. If you're building out a SGP, you want a game script out how you think the game's going to go. And if you nail it, hopefully you nailed the right players in that game script. But so we're game scripting out that the Chargers are going to win. They're probably ahead, hopefully playing with the lead, just running the ball. And then, Bryce Young's in catch-up mode.
That's not bad right there, to be honest.
That's not bad.
A little correlative stack. I don't know. Kind of. I mean, we're really stretching correlation here.
Yeah, I like the touchdown. Well, I think the touchdown is correlated more than just the yardage, But, I mean,
J-Step, listen, bro. That and ESPN Bet.
Yeah.
And ESPN Bet, David, they were supposed to be live for NFL Week 1. They had purchased, I think it was WinBet, the WinBet license. It might have been WinBet. I think it was WinBet. Like
ESPN
6 months
was
ago.
Supposed to be live, you said?
They had said, like, we're going to be live for the NFL season in New York.
Drop the ball.
And I continue to see people doing alt line unders on ESPN Bet and just banging out W's for MLB. Like, you can take just totally arbitrary numbers. Dylan Cease, 6.5 strikeouts, and minus 140 to the under on FanDuel or something. You go to ESPN Bet, you could alt it to 7.5, snag the under. You could do that with multiple pitchers and then just parlay them. Like, unbelievable. And I'm seeing W after W. It's wild.
From these soft lines that they've obtained. Well, we'll get there, and then we'll just go crazy.
It'll be fun. That'll be fun to bring up.
That's all I got.
Okay, we'll move on. The ESPN Bet platform too is pretty slick. I've looked at it before, right. So I think when it is live, that'll be fun for you and I to have up for shows too. I think it'll look slick. And who doesn't like the ESPN, right? I mean, all right. Jets at Titans.
Tell me the Jets bounce back this week, right? We're on the same page there,
right? Right. Listen, okay. Titans absolute meltdown. I think they do step up a little bit this week, but still, I think that the Jets. Listen, man,
they're just such
what a tough freaking game. They were in San Francisco on Monday Night Football after, Aaron Rodgers had not played for 500 days and was playing with this offense live action for the first time ever. Like, right. It wasn't going to go that great. The Niners are potentially going to the Super Bowl this season, or at least one of the top 3 or 4 teams that have a chance. So the Jets, they were in hot water from the very beginning. I think we got bounce back spot. I like the Jets to not only win this week, but to cover the minus 3.5. I likely, I'll likely look around and see if I can find it at minus 3, similar odds. And if not, I'm not going to take the 3. And I'll take the best odds at minus 110, minus 108, whatever it might be. So that potentially ends up being a play I jump on. The anytime touchdown score, listen, Breece Hall earlier this week was a minus 125 on Fliff of all places. I mean, just untouchable at this point. You can't do it. I think the value now is probably Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson is probably the play to jump on. And same thing for the receiving props. His receptions at 5.5, too juiced, right? So at this point, you're not taking the receptions. You're probably looking at the receiving yards and hoping he catches a longer pass or two. So maybe the over 69.5 for Garrett Wilson. Maybe the Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown, I think, is in play. But there's not a lot to like. I think this is one of those teams, David. Annually we see there's a few teams in the NFL. There's like focused production, and they're fun to bet on. I think this is going to be one of those teams.
Yeah, the Jets, I mean, it's pretty much Breece Hall or Garrett Wilson every single week. And Garrett Wilson, who we were on last week, I don't know if were you rooting for him to score a touchdown too? He got tackled at the 2-yard line.
I had his receiving prop over 4.5.
Tackled at the 2-yard line. Ridiculous. And then we got a Breece touchdown. But man, that could have easily gone. He made the first guy miss. Easily could have gone for a touchdown. I think Garrett's the bounce back play this week.
Yeah. And the team didn't even leave. Actually, they left Wilson in, though, because he had his 6th catch in like the 32nd mark of the 4th quarter.
Okay.
So never mind.
I like, I think Garrett Wilson's probably in a good bounce back spot this week. Definitely a friendlier matchup. And Tennessee's built heavy. Oh, Did you just throw me on the screen? Oh, you meant to. Okay. Okay. Garrett Wilson is, or I'm sorry, the Tennessee Titans, where you want to attack them is through the air. I was
Sorry.
like,
I
did
know.
he go off stream? I was
I
like,
know.
is this mine now?
I noticed the dog had snuck out. I had left my
Oh,
office door open because he was sleeping behind me.
I was like,
And,
I've got the Tom Brady moment. Here it is.
Step up, David. Step up.
Here it is. Pass. I got to drop a bomb. And then I was like, oh, what I meant to say. So anyways, what I was trying to say though, is the Titans are a team that you actually, it's harder to attack them on the ground. They've got some monsters in the middle of the defensive line on the Titans. So I'm not saying Brees is a bad play by any means, because when you got a guy like Brees, he's never a bad play. However, Garrett Wilson attacking them through the air might be the play this week. And then the odds are just screaming that as well. So yeah, I think that's the only thing I'm looking at this week.
Yeah. Let's move on. That's going to be a boring game, I think. I think the Jets are going to be a boring team this year, to be honest.
Really? You think so, huh? Well, their defense is so good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of low-scoring games. I think they protect Aaron Rodgers, and I think the offense runs through Brees. He'll get 25-plus touches per game as long as the games aren't blowouts, which just ends up being boring.
Yeah.
Bucks at Lions. This should not be boring. I think the Bucks are able to hang with the Lions this week on the road, 7.5-point dogs, which is a very large spread, in my opinion, for the Bucks, who looked great in week 1. And I believe last year, 9-7? Didn't they make the playoffs and everything?
Yeah, they won a game. They won their first game in the playoffs. Yeah.
Right. They're a good team, dude. So I don't get this very large spread. I'm actually a little interested in that one. Lions, -375 home favorites. Very, very juicy. Can't really touch that, in my opinion, unless you're parlaying it, at which point I think it's too volatile. I'm actually a little concerned. Bucks had a good defense last year, too. That offense, if they're humming along like they did in week 1, there's a lot to be concerned about. Touchdown scorers this week. Okay.
You could choose any of them.
Honestly,
I think it's a hard game because of that. Like, I think it's going to be hard to settle on a few.
Sure. I'm with you. Yeah, there's a lot of people that can score.
There's so many.
I'm on Ross St. Brown. Listen, is he going to dud again? Doubtful.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
is this the game?
Back.
Yeah. Is this the game where he bounces back? Okay. We got a great touchdown prop. Receiving yards and receptions. We're looking at 7.5 plus odds for the receptions. Receiving yards, virtually identical line as last week. I doubt that one of the top, 5 wide receivers in the NFL just gets shut out the way he did again.
Yeah, I don't think
I kick it over to you, and you're like, big old yawn.
Is he done talking yet? Is
Drew
Bledsoe done talking yet? I don't know. I agree he doesn't dud. Looking at these two props, I have to think about which one I like more. I'm just like a touchdown degenerate, so my heart wants to say like he bounces back with a touchdown. All right, 3 props on the board right now for Amon-Ra. If I force you to pick one right now, do you have one that you like the most out of those 3?
Yes.
Would you care to share it with the rest of us? Or is the answer no?
Yes. I like the yardage. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the yardage over 81.5, wherever you can get it. I mean, it's going to be around there, 80, 82. I mean, heaven forbid. I wish I had a tool to look up all his props for the day, but I like the 81.5 here. Please do your due diligence and research this line.
Look it up. Come on. Come on.
No,
come on.
It's too fun now.
It's too fun now. But now you're doing yourself a disservice. Your family is hurting now because we're
what's for dinner tomorrow?
Yeah, right. Exactly. I got nothing because I couldn't mention the tool. I got nothing. But guess what? I got a good zinger in there on the stream.
Yeah, it was worth it.
That's what really matters. Yeah. Oh, here, open up this ramen. Peanut butter jelly. I love peanut butter jelly. Ramen. Open up this ramen. I was insinuating that you didn't have money for food like you were. I thought we were doing a thing here.
What's a ramen? What do you mean?
Ramen.
Oh, I'm like, what is this? What is this phrase?
You're eating ramen eggs like Charlie from Always Sunny. Crow's eggs. Man. Oh, we've got off the rails. Anyways,
how do we get here?
I don't know. Where am I right now? I think you could probably talk me into the yardage being my favorite one too. But
okay,
I mean, touchdowns are volatile. We love touchdowns. Everybody loves touchdowns. They're kind of like home runs in baseball. Like everybody loves that, but they're volatile. Yeah, I think they probably force feed Amon-Ra, and yeah, I kind of like that yardage prop. Why don't we pull it up and let's see if there's a better, 79.5, 80.5 anywhere, or if 81's the best. I'm guessing the lowest you might be able to get is 80, but that's based off of nothing in the world.
Sure. I am extremely zoomed in here to make it look good, but I can't see what I'm looking at. So
I see a 79.5 on ESPN Bet, of course. Well, scrap it. That doesn't help us.
No, that
It'll help
does not.
somebody.
It's
That's all right.
unfortunate.
Help
Man, that's
somebody.
freaking. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
All right, so take
Well, hey,
ESPN out, but yeah, it's
listen,
80.5.
FanDuel is a yard,
Yeah,
a
it's not.
yard,
That's not
a
a big
yard
deal.
left.
That's not a big deal.
If you want it, there it is. That's where you go for it. PrizePicks actually
I
80
like
and a half. Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Only a matter of time before that moves, probably.
What about his touchdowns? Like this is unfortunate to me, honestly. Like I kind of like
Maybe it should be like a
it's
plus
hard
115 or something.
I agree. Like we need
Yeah.
like a plus 120-ish because with those two running backs, man, and they're so good in the red. Literally, both are so good in the red zone. I was looking at their red zone touches. Dude, they average a combined almost 9 touches per game inside the 20-yard line. 9. Think of how many times the Lions get down there inside the 20, and they are likely soaking up 75, 80% of all the touches. Like Laporta might get a couple opportunities. Maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown gets 1 or 2 per game, but like we're talking a large majority goes to those running backs. It's hard to take Amon-Ra St. Brown at anything that's around like a minus 105 to plus 105. In my opinion.
I think he scores though. I do think he scores. Just game scripting this out. It's very possible and potentially even likely that Tampa Bay could get a little bit of a lead in this game or definitely hang around. We agree on that. And if they're doing that, the Lions are probably going to be throwing the ball quite a bit, and Amon-Ra could easily get one against this banged up Tampa Bay secondary right now. Because Tampa Bay, so people maybe are hitting the under. Tampa Bay's secondary is banged up. So I think Amon-Ra is interesting, but maybe the receptions is the play. However, if you're going to do it, maybe parlay. Odds. Yeah, parlay, either parlay if you want. I'm a degenerate, always parlay. Parlay, you could parlay together if you want and get like probably a plus 250 or something like that, and maybe even higher. And but like for like a quarter unit or something like that, or a half unit, something like that. But I think Amon-Ra, and we kind of both sounds like we agree though that he bounces back this week. So, and the game script's perfect for Amon-Ra. We talked about game script being favorable for Henry earlier. This is a favorable game script for Amon-Ra, and we didn't even talk about Mike Evans, who's probably the best touchdown play this week, but at least definitely for the Tampa Bay side. Mm-hmm. I also like Chris Godwin's reception prop a little bit.
5.5.
It was plus 110. I mean, like that's kind of crazy for a receptions prop to the over being plus odds.
Yeah,
Chris Godwin back in the slot.
It was at 4.5 and juiced to like minus 180. So I saw people taking it and parlaying it with other things earlier in the week. So this just keeps climbing, dude.
Yep. I think because you got Chris Godwin in the slot, which is where he is best. And we saw that week 1. He had 8 catches, scored a touchdown. Chris Godwin in the slot in a pace-up game, in a game that they're going to have to throw to win. And, Rachaad White, they're not really going to lean on him too much. I don't think he could, scrape together a touchdown. But, this is going to be a throwing back and forth game. This will be one of the best games of the weekend for sure, I think.
Yeah.
That's it.
I guess part of me is a little concerned at how easy it is for both of us to say stuff like that.
That's going to be a good game?
Yep. And like
blows them out
offensive fireworks. And then we see a game like what we just saw on Thursday Night Football that absolutely trashes literally the entire community. Like nobody profited.
Yeah. I mean, so what do you do though? You wouldn't just avoid a potentially good game like this. Would you just try to be limited and narrow is what you're saying?
Something like this.
It's like a side bet, like a separate thing in addition to some touchdown plays.
Yeah, exactly. So you're trying to grab some upside through touchdown opportunities, like first half team touchdown for Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Yeah. Something like that. It's like plus 250. And, you're sprinkling on stuff like that. But then on the other side, half of whatever you're investing on all of those, you are snagging the under 51 or.
Well, I like it. I mean, I like it because both those things could happen.
Exactly.
Both those things could happen too.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. We don't need this game to be a 58-point game for Jahmyr Gibbs to get a first half touchdown or even any touchdown.
I agree.
Or even 2 of their guys to get a touchdown. That's like, it could be 20-7 in this game. Who knows? But all right. I like it.
Let me see. They betting trends here for this so far.
Whoa, how'd you get into this?
These? Huh? What?
How'd you get into this?
Oh, this is pretty cool. DK, man.
What is this?
They have you go into the game, you can click stats or whatever, and here it is. The stats tab. Man, I can't see.
Yeah.
Listen, for people who are watching, if I look clunky on this desktop, it's freaking hard. It's hard zoomed in at 200% on your browser to navigate a desktop platform that I don't even use to bet. I mean, I'm on mobile.
I know,
I bet mobilely, right? So yeah, it's tough. But anyways, usually you can see where the money is, where the bet, at least where the bets are. You can look at the movement, things like that. It's pretty nice. It doesn't look like I have any info here for the under. Usually it shows the percentage and stuff, but
all right. I like it. All right. I think that's it. I mean, there's a lot of targets in this game, and I like that little angle of maybe taking the under too. I might have to think about that one a little bit.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah,
All right, moving on. Colts. I'm gonna let you talk about it, baby. Colts Packers. Malik Willis. Good freaking luck.
Guys, listen.
Plus, can we just take minus like 24.5? Yeah, like plus 500 goal a day.
Best throw of the decade last week, right? Come on, guys.
Great throw. You know what it reminded me of? Do you remember Dante Culpepper?
Yeah.
Where he used to throw those, like anytime he went deep, it was a moon ball, dude. Yes, you remembered. That's what it looked like.
Third farthest air yard pass in NFL history.
It looked amazing.
I mean, it looked like it too.
It was literally just dropping
bang.
The bucket.
And that was the best part. Yeah, the best part was that he like dropped it on a dime.
Yeah.
And then he overthrew AD Mitchell for 2 touchdowns. Although one of them, not his fault. The defender got beat because
by the way,
truly
to the community watching, I texted and I was trying to say something positive, and David,
you
massive
text me during Colts games.
I know, it was a huge mistake. I didn't reply after that because I knew what I was going to get. He was not happy.
You can't text me during Colts games. You guys know the fans know when you're really like in the game and like it's up and down and they're. It
was after the game for what it's worth. You were just
they just lost that even worse. Even worse. You didn't help your case there. You only made it worse. Coming off a 2-point crushing defeat at the very end where we played a great game. But anyways, though, AD Mitchell is going to be a certified stud. I talked about it all last week that I think he's eventually their number 1 receiver potentially. I don't even know if it ends up being this year. I don't know if I'm going to bet on him. He's more of like, this is more of like I guess that's more of like a fantasy football thing. Eventually he'll get to the point where I will be consistently betting on him.
Yeah,
but 2 touchdowns he should have had last week. One of them, AR's fault. One of them, not AR's fault. AD Mitchell beat the guy so badly that he held him and grabbed on him. They called the penalty. So
was that
one? The timing was
sideline, or was that the other one over
the fade route on the sideline? They were kind of both fade routes. They were like stop and goes. One of them just got overthrown. They were coming to the left.
That was
side
the one in the end zone, right? The right side of the end zone. I'm trying
to
remember.
It was like 5-yard line. So, but he was wide open. Like it would have been a clear touchdown. Yeah. That one was AR's fault. The other one, similar though, got held, would have been a touchdown too. They called the penalty, whatever. The guy, I mean, a good play by the DB. That's what you're taught, right? You're beat, grab onto him, save a touchdown. So that's what he did. AR Richardson, anytime touchdown is beautiful. I'll never say it's not, but it's not my favorite.
Let's hear it.
Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown was a plus 115, but now it's a 105. I still like it, but I'm curious to see, and you might be able to get it somewhere better. What are you laughing at? He's gone. He's gone.
Because I know what you wanted to say.
I got you. No. I'm giving it right to you. It's a layup. It's a layup. Don't wait. The ball's sitting in the air. The timer's ticking. It's a spike.
Hey, David did post this in his VIP. It was
I didn't say it. But you said it. Nothing. There's no rules.
I got you, baby. I want you to succeed too.
No. You're
JT.
Fine. I just talking about because like we listen, you get it. We in all seriousness, we get ahead of these things when we see them. This along with like the J.K. Dobbins.
We're having fun here, fam.
Yeah. There were ones that were really obvious to me early in the week. JT scored last week. This game script is great for him. After we just saw Saquon Barkley rip off 2 touchdowns on the ground and 1 touchdown through the air against this team last week. And now you got Malik Willis playing quarterback. I think this line's kind of a little bit silly, but I also think that the line is what the line is because AR is going to have some ups and downs. So that's my personal take. Otherwise, but if he has an up week, they'll win by 10, no problem. But we'll see.
People forget, dude. People forget.
They forget
what a red zone, huh?
Yeah, they forget.
They forget. This dude was one of the best, if not the best, red zone running back the first couple years of his career. I mean, my gosh, my friends. And even last year, or it was 2 years ago. No, that was last year. He had 7 touchdowns last year, in limited action.
He sat out the first 4 weeks, had an ankle injury and stuff. Yeah. Oh, JT's.
You had 20 touchdowns in 2021. 20.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, no, he's anytime we get plus odds there, I think JT is a great play. I'm right there with you, bro.
Yeah,
I took A-Rich earlier this week simply because of the odds. They're so freaking long.
I mean, did you see his touchdown last week?
It was awesome.
Just run the guy over at the goal line on 4th down. I mean, perfect game.
I thought he was going to stumble. He looked like he lost his balance there for a hot second.
He probably did.
Athletic. He just popped himself back up and trucked everybody.
So big and strong. He's just so.
Yeah,
oh
he's,
man, I'm
he's
just
fun
so
to watch,
excited
man.
to watch. It is. It's a good time to be a Colts fan. All I pray is that he stays healthy. If he's healthy, I'm happy with the ups and downs. I'll ride this roller coaster right out. for the next 10 years. I'm fine with it. So, yeah, 10 years, baby. I'm hoping. We'll see.
Yeah, man. That's great that you guys got Josh Allen light over there. I'm really happy for you.
Third most air yards ever completed. That Bob broke the chart that they make, that little next gen stats chart. It's like
too high in the air.
It's so funny. I love it. Oh,
I think I saw that graphic. It like cut out, right? It was
it ends like the screen ends.
Yeah, it was just
like
gone.
out of the stadium.
Yeah,
it's like we don't have enough bandwidth for this play. Yeah, listen, if nothing else, guys, you guys get it. It's exciting to be a fan and watch your players do something fun, even in a loss. It was a great week. Had a good time with the family watching that. A lot of exciting things. I mean, listen, it's like a game, even though they lost, like with like nothing but big plays. That's fun. You know what I mean? Like nothing but home runs.
I mean, that was one of the best games of Sunday. It might have been the best game of Sunday. Down to the wire. It was back and forth throughout. Like no one ever really ran away with it.
Not really. No, it was a good game. It was fun. We got a good division. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. All right. I
can't wait to see them play in Indianapolis next.
No, that was in Indy.
Oh, bummer. You guys are going to go too.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't think thanks for that one. I don't think
unfortunate.
I mean, listen, they're a great team. I don't think home field advantage is a huge thing. I think it's just like whoever's playing better that week. These teams are both really good. It's so close. CJ Stroud looks good too, man. Nico Collins. I said it last week. I said it. I don't know if you remember last week on this show. I was like, Nico Collins always tears up the Colts, and he did again. 112 passing yards. Did he score a touchdown? I don't think Nico had a touchdown, but had a great week.
I think Diggs took them all in the red zone.
Yeah, Diggs took 2, and then Joe Mixon had 1 at least.
Speaking of, we're not in Houston yet. Oh, okay.
No, we're not in Houston.
We'll get there. Right. We'll get there. Seahawks at Patriots. Kenneth Walker and move on. Can we just agree? No?
Injured, not playing this week. Zach Charbonnet.
When did that happen?
A couple days ago, I think.
No.
He has an abdominal injury.
Yeah, bro. No, man. That's annoying.
You, yeah, Zach Charbonnet, though. Slide him right in. Not a bad option.
See, I gotta see this.
Not a bad option. Although they're taxing us on Charbonnet.
Okay, listed last night. Schefter listed as doubtful.
Yeah, he's not playing.
He's not playing.
No, I don't think
that's a bummer.
Yeah, abdominal injury.
For what it's worth, Kenneth Walker said he's fine.
That's weird.
Yeah, but yeah, you don't want to bet on him even if he gets upgraded and plays. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Because if he comes in, takes one shot to his stomach, I mean, you're a running back, man. You're getting hit in the stomach the whole game. Holy smokes.
Do they have Chardonnay.
Charbonnet's line's like a plus
Chardonnay.
115. Charbonnet. It's with a
Chardonnay.
That's a wine or a drink. This is all inspired by Marvin Gaye and Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
Okay.
Not Chardonnay. All right. I know your face. You were like,
I was like, what are you doing here, bro?
I
was like, I just saw it come on the screen. I was like, it's definitely a B. Well, I struggled with H-Chat all last year, so I wouldn't put it past me.
Fair. Plus 120 on FanDuel.
That's
good thing
not
I can
bad.
flip back and forth between sites here. This is a lot better odds than on DK. So,
man, speaking of DK, I want DK so bad, but their offensive line.
Do you see the odds? I mean, it is.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty good. It's
insane.
Almost like it's almost strictly an odds play here, but like
I agree.
Their offensive line is so bad. They just look so bad in pass protection last week. Right. Yep. I don't know. But listen, I don't think it's bad for a small thing.
If Kenneth Walker is out and Zach Chardonnay does not have as good of a rushing game as Walker did last week, and he was absolutely feasting.
Yeah, they're gonna have to
what if they throw him more?
I really want to love DK here, but but honestly, and this is something you could help me with. Would you put a whole unit on DK Metcalf at plus 215?
Love that question. Thank you. So last week, very similar situation. I took, and I missed, I took plus, I think like 215 or so, maybe identical odds on Devontae Adams for the Raiders. I just thought he was going to have a chance to score in the opener and Minshew would just force feed him, I played it to win a unit and it ends up being quick math, like 0.35 units or something. So like, it really is not bad, right? Like if you want to bet on like Metcalf, and I believe I had looked at this earlier this week too, and I think it was still over plus 200 for Devontae. Like these guys are going to score touchdowns this year, plus 200. Like if you really wanted to.
Wow, plus 845.
No, for two guys.
Do we snip that? We got to snip that, right? Do we snip it? He's not ready.
I don't know if I can. I think honestly, these guys are so volatile. Like I probably would sprinkle on a straight for both of them, but I don't know if there's something I want to parlay.
Oh, we didn't get to do the Bills Colts thing this week. This week, I think
I
it
thought
would
of
come
that
through.
before the show. It's
Dang it.
unfortunate. I know.
Um,
We'd be halfway there.
yeah, I
Cash
know,
this
right?
out. Would have
Although-
cashed this out.
Would we? Oh, we were just gonna do money lines. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just money lines. It was over plus 200 again too. We just didn't connect.
I
I
mean,
know
at a
because the
plus-
Bills were plus 118.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
Colts are a close. What was
that
it?
bad,
Minus
yeah.
170 or something. So it was like a plus 280 or something when I looked at it. Like, oh, would have been a good one.
Well, hey, Marvin, it's a good thing I didn't do Bills and Colts last week because the Colts blew it for us. So I was on it.
But
I'm
again,
a sharp better.
we only need to win like 6 of them. If they're over plus 220 or something. So like, can the Colts win?
Listen, but
And
but
can
I do
the
want to circle
Colts and
back.
Bills win 6 times together this year? We profit if we
We're
do.
0 for 1 so far, but yeah, I think this week we do. DK Metcalf, I'm interested in that. I'm gonna write it down.
Okay.
Because I think if nothing else, even for like a 1/10 of a unit, I mean, you basically
Mhm.
win. Yeah, it's solid.
I'm gonna interject here. Most important thing I've done on the show so far.
Oh yeah,
Like our videos. I actually just went to your YouTube and just went to my YouTube, and we have a fraction of the likes compared to the viewers on our shows right now. Like the video. We are literally heading into hour number 2. We've got half the games left, giving out as much free info and analysis that we can, trying to entertain you on your Saturday morning. And hopefully, as you're watching this later in the day, like the video. Help us out. That's the best way to help us, is we're here trying to grow our platforms, trying to grow our channels, and trying to feed our communities. My friends, just like it. Just click it. Just click it. It's like that Paul Rudd gif. I don't even know what that show's from. He's sitting at the table and he's got his cell phone. He's like, just click it.
I'm only familiar with the one where he goes, "Look at us." You know, that same one. He goes, "Look at us."
It's the same show.
Whatever that's from. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, they're free, guys. Just click
free.
it. Just click it. It doesn't do anything. Just free. All right. What game are we on now?
We are on.
Oh, I think we're on the Giants and Commanders.
More grossness.
The only thing I think
Yes, you're right.
I have interest in, I don't know, is maybe Brian Robinson Jr., who looked really good in week 1, or you could look at the rushing attempts of Jaden Daniels because he had 16 in week 1. It's set at 10.5 this week. Maybe. But, was that an outlier, or is that how this guy's going to play football from now on? I think he definitely didn't. When I was watching him, he definitely would look at his one read. If that wasn't open, he'd take off running. So you've got that going for you, a rookie that's ready to run. And again, who cleared that line by a lot last week. But yeah, I don't have too much else in this. Do you have anything from this game?
It's hard to bet on this game. Brian Robinson Jr., anytime touchdown was plus 240 last week. Last time I looked at it, wasn't even remotely close to that. So I don't even think
135, I think, right?
Yeah,
140.
Touchable for me, because the same thing of what you said. Like, who knows who's going to carry the football when they get in there? Maybe Terry McLaurin bounce back spot this week if they throw it more. But like you said, dude, those 16 carries just take me off of the offense entirely.
Yeah.
And I'm not touching Giants like all year, so screw that.
No, I think not this week, but throughout the season, you will hear me try to target Washington players against the Washington team. Like, their defense is terrible. So mark it down.
Browns at Jaguars, 3-point spread here, plus 140. Brownies on the road. Jags minus 166 at home, a 41.5 point total. There are some players on both sides of the ball I'm interested in targeting this week, but I'm going to let you kick it off here if you've got any takes or if you don't care.
I only have one, and the only guy I have interest in this game is Jerome Ford. I mean, I could be talked into ETN, but didn't look really that great last week. Got punched out at the 1 yard line. Would have scored a touchdown otherwise.
Jordan Poyard, bro. That's Bill.
Yeah, I think Ford's really. I mean, Cooper's odds are fine. Who else? Scroll down a tiny bit if you don't mind. Njoku's hurt this week.
Touchdowns or what?
Yeah, just touchdowns. I was just curious. Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie, looked great last week, scored a touchdown. Christian Kirk looked bad, dropped a touchdown, or dropped an open 30-yard play.
Amari Cooper drop a tutty? 45-yard bomb. Yeah, he dropped it at like the 2-yard line. Outstretched hands, off the hands. It was a 45-yard touchdown. Would have changed the game.
Here's the thing, is that they're probably going to be playing from behind, so the game script favors Cooper. But Deshaun Watson just looks so bad that I don't even want to do too much with it. And the only player I'm semi-interested in is Jerome Ford. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Jerome Ford, I'm actually interested in his combined rushing receiving. I had it last week. I did a radio spot for Cleveland of all places. And I like Jerome Ford for over 69.5 combined total yards. He finished with 69 in the blood. So annoyed, but I think that's I know. I think it could be an interesting play to go back to the well, because if we have any bit of a competitive game, I think we're in a pretty good spot. Gosh, where is it here? 74.5. I think it could be interesting. You know, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. Clearly, he's the guy for now. And, you know, that we just need this game to be remotely competitive for this. And honestly, we just need the Browns to be like slightly better for this line to look delicious to me.
Okay.
Because they were awful.
Yeah, they're bad.
Like, how many people are going to look awful against Micah Parsons and the Cowboys? Like, they made some teams look pretty bad last year, too.
I know.
Of that pressure.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. I just think that the Browns, I think Deshaun Watson might truly just be cooked. Like, he looks uncomfortable. His footwork's bad. His decision-making's poor. He just does not look good. I don't think it's a good fit in this offense. I think this is going to go down as one of the worst trades that they've ever. Do they trade or sign him? Sign him? No, they traded him,
right?
I thought they had to trade for him and then give him a contract.
Wow.
Yeah, worse. One of the worst trades ever. Yeah, for sure.
Cooper yardage, I'm a little intrigued on because, again, listen, it was just such a bad game. He had 9 targets. He dropped a 45-yard pass. So the opportunity was there. The drop was the reason why he missed the over on his 56.5 yards. So I like Amari Cooper a little bit bounce back as well. On the other side, Travis Etienne for a tutty, I think, is in play. And other than that, maybe, you know, if his receptions prop was at 2.5 still. No, it's been bumped up 3.5. I won't touch it there. So, you know, there's some fringe plays for me. I don't entirely know what I'm going to do there, though.
Okay.
Rams.
Ooh.
Rams Cardinals. Yeah.
This is a good one.
We got offense. We got players. We have potential superstars. We have old man Cooper Kupp back with his, what was his knee? ACL looking healthy again. So, I don't know where you want to go with this first, man. There's a lot of targets.
I love
Marvin Harrison.
I love Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm.
His 7.5 receptions to the over has gotten a little juicy, but not for us. Anyways, but I like that. And what you could do now, I think, is parlay that with his alt line, like 70 or 80 plus receiving yards. And let's see what that does for us now. Just curious.
Same game.
Sorry. Yeah.
Receiving.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? Like, 70,
70 or 80 parlayed with his over receptions.
Got you. Oh, gosh.
It's a way to like cut the juice down a little bit. Yeah, it's tough. Oh, right there. I see it on the screen in the middle. Cooper Kupp right under Colby Parkinson. Right. Yeah. Wow. It's gotten kind of ugly out there. I mean, it's not bad. I think that it's highly correlated. I don't think he gets one without the other. So let me say that.
Okay.
I think it's possible, but I don't think it happens. I think if he doesn't get the receptions, like, then he's not getting the yardage probably because for whatever reason he went out with an injury or something like. But I mean, he had 20 targets last week, 20 in a game that Puka even played a little bit, but obviously a lot of those came after Puka was out. 20 targets, 14 receptions. I mean, my goodness, in a competitive game that they're going to be throwing the ball this week, that 7.5 just seems like a free square almost. And you know, now you're getting taxed for it, and I think you could throw in an anytime touchdown and get like a plus 137, plus 140 for Cooper Kupp.
The Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, like it's an easy little parlay. 154. Not bad. That is a lot for a 154. I'll say that, but I do think that it's a nice easy cash. So,
all right.
I mean, Kyron's always in play, and James Conner was my favorite touchdown prop of the week last week. Cashed it in the first quarter. Yeah. So I think he's in play, but last week it was plus money. Yeah. And now it's a minus 110. So I don't know. That's my initial thoughts. What do you got?
Listen, I'm a little concerned about this game. Very similar to the Lions game, where there are so many players that could be so impactful in this game, and not only impactful, but to dominate the stats. I mean, Kyron Williams had 21 touches last week. You know, he very well could have been churning out rushing yards to the point where Cooper's they're not throwing the ball as much, right? And then Cooper gets wrecked. Vice versa. What if they're throwing the ball really well? Kyron gets shut down rushing the football. No, Cooper's going to explode. What if Kyron in the red zone is the only guy with the touchdowns. I mean, he's had 13 starts with the Rams, and he has 2+ touchdowns in 5 of 13 games. He's had 3+, I believe, in 2 of them. So Kyren Williams, 2+, 3+ touchdowns in play, first half, second half in play, anytime, of course, in play, but you're going to have to parlay it at this time. So, like, some of these guys, I think, can dominate statistically to the point where other guys on their team are going to get impacted, and it's going to be bad for betting purposes. So I'm a little concerned. I don't entirely know which direction I want to go for this game right now. I'm going to have to dive in a little bit more later. I think surface level, I think it's a Kyren Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr. game. I think that they try to get him. I know. Okay. I think they try to get him involved. You saw stuff on Twitter around the industry. People are talking about sports talk radio of just the lack of opportunity and designed plays to get him the football, despite the fact that he got open a handful of times and just wasn't getting thrown the football. So I think there's a bounce back opportunity for the 4th overall draft pick. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. gets an opportunity to, get maybe a handful of extra targets this week, at which point I'm interested in some of his props. The 58.5 is interesting. Yeah. The 58.5 is interesting because, this kid is so good at all levels. It takes a catch or two for him to clear something like that, truly. And then you don't have to worry about the receptions. The fact that we're getting, and here's what makes me like the yardage a lot, David, the 4.5 receptions, juice to the over. So books open the line. Everyone says, I like him for 5+. Are we really saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be averaging, was that 12 yards per catch? Like, I don't think so, bro. 12 yards per catch is 60 yards. This kid, has potential for being one of the better, like, yard after catch wide receivers, downfield targets, big, strong, fast. I think 50.5 is just too low.
I like that. I'm starting to lean towards making like a little SGP. The only thing I say I disagree is I think that you alluded to Kyren Williams having a big week last week and 20+ touches or whatever, and Cooper Kupp still 8. So while I think it could happen, I don't think it's super likely that one of those guys gets shut out completely. Now, that's not to say that they both score touchdowns or that kind of thing, but I think they can both get theirs because this is one of those offenses that are so focused on those two guys without Puka now. It's not going to be Colby Parkinson. It's not going to be Demarcus Robinson, really. So it's like it's going to Cooper Kupp or it's going to, Kyren Williams. And that's it, really.
Yeah. Would you say Cooper Kupp over 7.5 is your favorite of the 3 Cooper bets you talked about?
Yeah.
Well, that's a +202 on DK. That's not a bad little
play
parlay for this game. And I think it's I do too. I like it. It's easy. We're not adding multiple legs, things like that. We're just hammering those out. Truly, if we just are believers in Connor and Kyren for tutties, which, man, they both score at will. Here's where our degenerate side takes over, and then we do this, and now it's a +800. I just can't help ourselves. So, there's no end to some of this stuff, but the way that you and I bet.
I like it. I like that +200 though. I love +250 we had. I like that. I'm going to write that down because I think that's a good one. Are you going to snip it? Are you going to snip it?
No, I'm not snipping anything. I don't want to bother saving stuff and tracking it. But hey, if you're live on the show, that's the beauty of being here and watching us live. If you're hoping for, post-show recaps, you likely not watching our show live and you're just waiting for those. So forget that. You got to be here, in my opinion, to get the value for the Check Down Champ show.
Forget that. I like that. I think that's a good one. All right. This is one of the funner games to bet on this week. So
I agree, man. I agree. Let's move on. I think this one could be interesting as well, depending on the health of some Bengals players.
All right. Tell me your thoughts here. How do you think this game goes? First off, who do you think wins?
Okay. I already had the Chiefs. They had it was a FanDuel Sportsbook. One of them had 100% boosted money line. Okay. And it boosted it to, like, at the time, I think it was -250. So it boosted it to -125. I used it on the Chiefs. I think they win this game outright. And a lot of it just depends on the health of the Bengals. And it looks like potentially no T. Higgins again and Jamar Chase. What are we going to get out of him? Do you have any updated info on his health, activity level, snap counts, anything?
I
haven't heard anything.
Listen, I don't think it was really his health. I know he said he was sick or whatever. He said he had like food poisoning or whatever, but I don't even know if I believe that. The problem is there doesn't look like there's any news. The only thing is that, it's another week without a contract. So I don't know. Actually, I'll try to look up while you're talking about this game if I could see anything about practice this week. But Yeah, I don't think much changed for Jamar Chase this week, which is bad. I mean, the longer this goes, just bad for everybody. So,
All right, so you're looking away from the screen and doing stuff.
yeah, real quick, I'm just gonna
All
look
right,
and see if I can
cool.
find anything.
All right, good deal. Total
so,
touchdown.
so lame. Drop the VIP like a chat.
Isaiah Pacheco.
Go ahead.
Anytime touchdown, not in play, but I'm going to be
Mm.
real with y'all. This isn't the play. This isn't the play for me. It's the rushing touchdowns. Pacheco's not like this amazing receiving back who's going to catch touchdowns left and right. I believe last year he had one or two, right? But the majority of his touchdowns were all running. So when you're looking at the touchdown props, for me, it's not the anytime touchdown for Isaiah Pacheco, who's juiced like whoa. It's taking the rushing touchdown prop. And I have a good feeling that Pacheco this week gets 2. I like him a lot for 2+ touchdowns in week 2. And I think if you really, truly just don't believe in the health of Chase or the activity level or the desire from Chase until that contract is, written up and signed, then Pacheco anytime touchdown, Chiefs money line, I think is a fine option too.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the anytime touchdown in the money line. I don't mind 2+ at all. It's just the only reason I say I don't mind it is because getting 2+ touchdowns in the NFL is not the easiest thing to do. However, we've seen it already happen a couple of times this year, and it happened, a ton of times last year. So, is that the best odds right there that you found for the 2+, the plus 390? Is that where you're?
I didn't look at anything.
Okay.
Just speaking generally here, but I
okay.
take a quick peek.
Perfect question for you right now. Okay, Isaiah Pacheco, his specific example, 2+ touchdowns. What would you put on it? Like in theory, what would be your unit
to win a unit? Most of these longer odd bets. I'm looking at the wrong game. Most of the longer odd, most of the long odd bets I like to do to win a unit. So plus 215 odds for Devontae anytime touchdown. 0.35 units or whatever it comes out to. A bet like that plus 390. I mean, what is that, like 0.2 units? Something like they're sprinkles.
Sure. Okay.
If it cashes, bang, I return myself a unit. Let me find 2 touchdowns.
I mean, it's nice.
Oh my gosh. This is why you line shop. Golly.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it's a big difference.
So let's say $10 was my unit. Look, you're investing 0.21 units.
That's a big difference. And you could get 5 plays and only got to hit one of them to make your money. Like that's
exactly
nice
and that's why David and I like to go down these plays and find these lottos and build these parlays because we're not throwing a unit on each of them. Maybe we have 5 of them and we're putting a quarter of a unit down, right? It's one of them hits, break even or make a little bit of money. And if you have yourself a really good day, which does happen at times, you cash 3, 4 of these parlays and lottos, and all of a sudden you're rolling in, 3, 4, 5, 6 units at a time. If really you just need one weekly to cash to just break even.
Yeah.
I like this.
Great. I like that. I like it a lot.
And if you really think about it, David, if he's cashing us out for 2 tutties, they don't even. I was wondering.
Well, you get taxed. Yeah, it goes down.
You can't take the spread,
I looked at that yesterday and I was like, wait a minute, it went down. Yeah, no, you can't take the spread, but you're right. I liked where your head was going because if he's doing that, they're winning. I think there's very little shot that the Bengals win this game. Like they're in shambles right now as a team, as an organization. They're in shambles right now, and they gotta right the ship in a hurry, and I don't think it's going to be this week though.
What do you think about Kelsey or Rice or Worthy for touchdowns, yardage, receiving? I mean, what are you thinking?
I was interested in Rice. I think that Rice can easily get a slant from about the 14-yard line where we saw him last week. They were loving those slants against the Ravens, and that's his game. And if he can hit one of those just down in the red zone, I think he easily gets in for a touchdown. So I'm interested in Rice. But I haven't put any official plays on it or anything or any money on it. But I don't know. Kelsey I don't think they need Kelsey. Talk about kid gloves. Like, I don't think they need Kelsey much this year until the end. Like, you bring in Worthy. They might need Kelsey a little bit more now that Hollywood Brown got placed on IR. Hollywood Brown's going to be out a decent amount of time now. But I think that boosts a guy like Worthy more than Kelsey. If they can stay healthy from here and then Hollywood comes back in week 10 or 11, I think that's when he comes in and smashes. But with Kelsey, I don't think they need to do too much with him. So I'm a little leery of what to do with Kelsey every week, really, right now.
I'm with you.
I think if anybody gets it, I think it's Rice out of those 3 guys we mentioned. Do you agree? Or you if you had to pick your favorite out of them, or
I just don't think I can bet on him.
Yeah,
I don't have a lean. I want to be able to say I have an opinion, but I don't. I just
Nope.
Good luck. It's a tough situation to bet on. I think Rashee Rice, really the only prop I ever want to look at is receptions. I think he's just, he's so much further ahead of the other two as far as reliability at this point, I believe. Kelsey might show that again in the playoffs, very much like Gronk at the end of his career, where he stepped up when he needed to, but in games where they didn't need it, or if somebody else was cooking, he just wasn't that factor.
Chicago Town said Browns traded, because we were talking about this. The Browns traded 3 first-round picks over 3 years for Watson, and then gave him a huge contract. Yeah, that's bad. That's real bad. That's real bad. Yeah, no, I think that it's all the Chiefs this week for me, baby. That's it. The Chiefs are going to win, and Pacheco 2+ is interesting, and that's it.
All right. Moving on. Next up, we have... Oh boy, we're getting to the end here.
Yeah, we're getting
3 games. Steelers, Broncos. Got a lean? I know.
Not really. I think the Steelers win, if that's helpful for anybody. On the road against the Broncos, I think that the defense gets after Bo Nix.
This total is just puke.
Yeah, Javonte Williams let me down last week. I liked his reception prop, and they just went to somebody else. Although I think Audric Estime is out with injury now, so they've narrowed their running back committee of 3 down to 2. So that could be helpful. Pickens looked pretty good last week, but I don't have any strong leans on what he's going to do. I don't really have much. I don't know if there's any player props that you like. Have you looked at anything for this game, or is it just kind of like?
But I'm going to bring up the game log from the box score from week 1.
Yeah,
for the Bears. Excuse me, not the Bears. The Steelers.
I need some coffee too.
Steelers, they're there.
I mean, Jaylen Warren didn't look great. What do you got?
Well, Jaylen Warren had been coming off a hammy, and I think I just think that we weren't going to get a lot from him. However, Najee Harris, man, the touches that he got last week, I find interesting. The Broncos' rush defense is pretty bad. They're pretty bad. They're not supposed to be good. I have some interest, as awful as it sounds, in such a low total, in Najee Harris for a tutty. Najee Harris rushing yards, I think it was 56.5. I found a little interesting. Justin Fields, 14 carries, did exactly what we thought he would do.
Sure.
Tuck and run, just tuck and run all game. I am intrigued a little bit about him, but I just haven't looked at his prop. So let me take a quick look at their rushing, because maybe there's an angle to play there for these guys.
Najee's probably my favorite too out of that, because he did dominate the workload last week, which was surprising because I was big on Jaylen Warren. I thought Jaylen Warren was going to be a better it's only week 1. It's 1 week.
Week 1, can't overreact.
A little bit.
All the results and everything we saw in week 1, we just can't overreact. We're not getting Justin Fields rushing props. Is there, because I just don't pay attention to Steelers news, are they concerned that Wilson's starting?
I think that the last I heard, and this is probably a little outdated at this point, was Tomlin said, ask me on Tuesday who the starting quarterback is. So it's Saturday now. So I don't know. I feel like we would have seen it. I mean, we're both so active on Twitter that I'm surprised we haven't seen it. It just says Steelers. So that was against the Falcons last week. Questionable to play. I don't know. It doesn't say it. Oh, Steelers sticking with Justin Fields as starting quarterback against the Broncos 3 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we don't have Fields bets. Maybe we'll just pay attention over the next 24 hours because, listen, dude, if the dude's tucking and running 14 times, 54 yards or whatever he had is low. Justin Fields is a tuck and run away from a 40-yard gain.
Yep.
So I'm intrigued. I'm going to wait and see what his rushing yard props are and what his rush attempt props are because, man, if they're in the 50s, I'm slamming the over.
Yeah. I don't see anything anywhere else for it either. Yeah, it's interesting. Najee, he definitely dominated the workload, but I think I need to see it at least one more week. If he comes out and dominates the workload one more week, then maybe we have some reliable data to start going off of. But it's still only week 2, so.
Week 2, baby. Bears at Texans, Sunday Night Football. This could be a bloodbath. I don't know. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I think that Houston kind of beats up on them a little bit personally. I know we've got a couple of Bears fans in the chat, so I'm trying just to be a little bit respectful of how I go about this, but I do think that Houston primetime at home, you know, Caleb Williams did not look great, and that was a little bit surprising to me. But I think, Houston's going to win this game. Joe Mixon's touchdown line, what's it at right now?
It was juiced like crazy to start the
Yeah.
week. It was untouchable.
I'm interested in Tank Dell a little bit. I want to see what his let me pull up some stuff instead of just speculating. If only we had a tool that could tell us.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I'll just have to go to the VIP channel. I have it in there. I want to look at it, the receiving yardage for Tank Dell. Actually, why are none of do you have any Houston ones up? See if you could find Tank Dell.
Okay.
Look at, there's no Houston stuff up.
Oh yeah, what's up?
What's going on with them? That's weird.
We have maybe we got news we're missing.
I didn't know there was any news to be had. I think I'm interested in some of the Houston receivers, but what I might end up doing is some little SGP with with CJ Stroud, passing yardage, and Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Because I think that what we saw in week 1 was kind of how I expected this Houston offense to go, where Tank and Nico are still the focal points. They're the two best players there.
Mm-hmm.
Diggs is the route specialist, third down, short yardage guy, touchdown guy, got 2 touchdowns in week 1. Could easily get open around the goal line. And, Tank Dell and Nico are the guys that are stretching the field. So I think that it's interesting to target, and pair CJ, maybe his alt line of like 225 plus. And I'm just thinking out loud here with like a Nico 70 or 80 plus and Tank Dell 50 plus, something like that would maybe be interesting to me. On the other side of the ball, Keenan Allen, I think, had some injury news potentially, but I don't know if that moves the needle a lot. Rome Odunze had injury news.
Yeah.
Did they both? Rome Odunze, what's his status?
Odunze's out.
He's out?
I believe it's a knee sprain or something for a few weeks, if I remember correctly.
Chat,
you guys can help us out. I don't pay attention to player news stuff as much as you'd think because it's all baked into the odds anyway. So
Keenan Allen sat out his 3rd straight practice. If that's the case, then you could maybe look at DJ Moore because he's going to have to be the guy that catches all the passes. You're down. They went from having a plethora of 3 receivers to now having 1. So that'd be interesting then too. DJ Moore's receiving yardage, maybe.
We'll look at that in a minute.
Yeah.
Also looking up.
You got anything?
DJ Moore 6'7.5" on FanDuel. I'm trying to find the rushing yards for Joe Mixon. I think honestly, man, dude had 30 carries, right? 30 carries.
He did. Colts defense just looked bad against the run though. So I'm having a hard time parsing out what that is there. You know what I mean? Like, is it
fair?
Is it Joe Mixon like being really good in this offense, or is it the Colts defense was just really bad? And the coach came out for the Colts and said, like, listen, we sold out this to try to stop the pass a little bit or limit. We dropped more guys into coverage and it cost us. So, and maybe the teams just have to do that this year against them. But I don't know.
DJ Moore, 66.5 receiving yards. Looks like Keenan Allen and Odunze are both questionable.
Man, he had 36 receiving yards in week 1, but it was just so bad because Caleb was just so bad.
Yeah, and Caleb, another guy who can tuck it and run it. If he tucks it 10, 12 times a game, or at least has the upside of doing that, pass volume is just lower.
Yeah, I don't have a lot on this. I'll probably, like I said, try to do a parlay for it since it's a primetime game. I'll put something together. But, it's nothing that I'm like, oh, this is the play. This is what I love.
I think the Bears are going to be tough to bet on for a hot minute. I think on the flip side of things, for Sunday Night Football, it's the Joe Mixon show for me. And that's probably
what do you like? It. What do you like for Joe?
Rushing yards, I'm leaning towards right now. And probably some type of touchdown bet.
Parlayed? Because it's like what is it now? Like a minus 160 or something?
It's not a straight pick for sure. It definitely would be something like Sunday Night Boost, maybe.
Sure.
Boost,
yeah.
Something like that as like a straight pick, or just include it in a single game parlay.
No love for your favorite man in the background there, Stephon Diggs?
I mean, I think you nailed it. I think, he's not going to be a high, he's not going to be catching 6, 7, 8 catches per game. He's not going to be racking up 70, 80 yards. We saw that in Buffalo towards the end of the season. And I think it just continues here. He's got 2 young studs competing with, right? He's going to be the veteran inside the red zone. I think he could be 8 to 10 touchdown guy this year, 60 catches, 800 yards, something like that. But I think Nico, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned this in the offseason, repeat performance of 2023. And Tank Dell, a rising wide receiver 2, wide receiver who could be a wide receiver 1 someday, somewhere, if he had the opportunity. How is Diggs going to be beating them down the field? It's just not going to happen.
No, not at all. And I think that to Houston's credit, they did a good job showing that they don't need him to do that. Diggs has always been a great route runner. Let him just run routes, get up to the line, jab step one way, get open on the other, and hit him for like a 7-yard gain all the time. That's fine for Diggs. That's fine for this offense. And they're using him to his his ability. Speaking of bloodbath, the Eagles destroy Atlanta, right? That was one of my first money line plays when I was building out that money line parlay I told you about. I'm like, yep. Eagles, click it. Next one. It's so easy. I feel like at home, right?
You know what I wish I did? I messed up. Should have posted this somewhere, public, premium, somewhere. And I didn't. I just took the home teams for the prime time, or excuse me, not the home teams. I took the Bills and then the 2 home teams for Sunday and Monday Night Football. It was like a plus 240 or something like that. It was like the easiest parlay I could have thought of because I love the Bills first up. But Eagles and Texans at home on Sunday and Monday Night Football. I have no faith in either traveling team. And Atlanta, dude, that offense just looked. And maybe listen, we're giving Aaron Rodgers leeway for missing time with injuries and stuff. Kirk Cousins coming off Achilles as well. There's just going to be some rust there. But
I will say, Aaron Rodgers, we're talking about 2 different tiers of quarterback, though. You know what I mean? So so I think to your point, I have even less faith in a mediocre before injury Kirk Cousins coming back looking incredible. You know what I mean? But yes, I'm with you. So you take a mediocre quarterback or maybe good quarterback, slightly above mediocre, and now you throw in an injury and an old body, and now you're expecting him to come on the road against the Eagles. I mean, Saquon Barkley's a great play. Talk about a guy for maybe 2+ touchdowns or the first half touchdown, like you were talking about. Saquon's firmly in play. AJ Brown popped up on the injury report with a hammy injury, which is a little concerning for a speedster, a guy like AJ Brown. So worth monitoring there, because if they get ahead in this game or they're, they feel like they don't need him, he could come out there and just be a decoy a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and I want to go back to the well on Bijan. And I even wrote a I even wrote a blog post about him. He didn't score in week 1, but the touches were there, and he even looked good. He was the bright spot in this offense and in this team. So I think if they have any hope of anything, they just got to get him a million touches. And is he good enough to score a touchdown out of one of those touches, or his rushing and receiving prop or something like that? I think he is. So I'm definitely leaning on going back to the well on Bijan. But my favorite play. Yeah, I think so. Or, or I might look at his rushing and receiving prop. I got to look at his rushing and receiving prop. But I mean, I think it's just, he's too good to be denied for too long, even against a good team. But yeah, the Barkley play, Barkley and their money line, I think is even too juicy now to do. But it's just a smash. I feel like you could do Barkley minus 2.5 for the Eagles. I mean, not that you need it probably, but maybe something like that. But yeah, Barkley's the play, I think, in my opinion.
I'm interested in Devonta Smith for receptions prop.
Over
of course,
4.5,
I'll have to line shop that. Yeah, the 4.5 is just too low. I mean, that was one of my favorite plays on our show last week. I was saying 6, 7, 8, 9 catches, run a receptions ladder. Golly, I wish I personally had done that and not just said it, because I think he ended up with 8 catches. And he's going to be that guy this year. He's going to be the in-between 20s. He's one of the most crisp route runners in the NFL in year 3, right? I mean, he is literally just an elite route runner, very similar to the Stephon Diggs mold as an early a young wide receiver who just was an elite route runner almost immediately. And Devonta Smith was known for his route running coming out of college, and nothing has changed. And he looked so good last week. And now you're telling me that AJ Brown potentially has, hammy issues coming in this week. So Devonta, receptions, yardage, touchdown reception was plus 140 here on DK. I think it's a Devonta week through and through.
What about Devontae 4.5 and Eagles money line or something? Just curious.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You want to click? Yep. I'm just curious to see what.
Yeah, let me show.
I mean, like, I think the Eagles money line is like a free square. Oh, so stupid. I hate this so much.
Oh my God.
I cannot tell you how frustrating it is because it happens to me all the time. Oh gosh, there it is, right there. You're on it. You got it. Yeah, I mean,
I like it.
I know, right? Pretty easy, cut and dry, simple.
Simple. We like simple. We like simple when we're including a money line. I think that's fine. I mean, how gross is that? That Saquon's, minus 220 touchdown or whatever. I mean, you're going to be at like a minus 130 still.
I know. I know. It is very frustrating. It's such a good play that you're like, man, like I just feel like it's like lock and load, but like you're getting taxed for it. So
you like Saquon for 2+?
Yeah, I think it's worth a sprinkle this week. I mean, shame on us for not trying to go back to it because after what we saw last week, I mean, holy smokes.
I think there's value in this.
Yeah.
First half, second half.
Listen,
you could throw a half unit on both of them. You could throw a unit on both of them, whatever you felt like. And then if he scores one, you're cashing, you're profiting, even if he doesn't score in the other half. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money.
Sure.
Let me show you baby. It is. Let me show you in a non. This is one of my favorite things to do with CMC. Last year did this a lot, and then I did it in week 1, and then he was out. So guys that have high red zone equity, and we can rely on them and to be in a good offense, not be subbed out at the goal line, things like that. Let me explain the strategy here. You take the first half and second half touchdowns, boom, and I'll show you math wise, okay, and boom.
Show me.
So like, let's say your unit is $10, okay, so you do this, and he scores in one of the halves. So instead of taking, Saquon Barkley minus 220 and having to parlay it somewhere, you do this. If he scores in one of the halves, you're profiting, of course, that's not a lot.
Sure.
It's $2, it's $3.
But the idea being that he absolutely could score both.
Yeah, exactly. And what I like to do with these as well is to parlay. So maybe you take Saquon with the Eagles, Saquon first half with the Eagles, and you're looking at like, plus 200, and then Saquon second half with the Eagles plus 200. And now you're betting to win one unit. And now think it through. Like if the Eagles win and he scores in the first half, you've won a full unit. You only bet a total of like 0.6. So now you're up to a point for a profit. If he scores also in the second half, now you're sitting there looking at 1.5 units profit, so there's a lot of ways to target some of these guys. And I'm going to be real with you. The first half, second half thing works better when they're longer odds. Like last week, I got CMC at plus 155 and plus 170. So the plus 120 and plus 130, I'm going to be real. While I was talking through that, I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. And this is me working through it, for the first time.
What about if you parlay with the Eagles money line? Do you like it more then? Like, do you like?
I do like it more then. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I'm not in the SGP, and it's annoying. So
I understand.
Let me try to quickly do it.
I'm just curious. Like, do we get a plus 200 or a plus 215? Something like that.
I guessed a plus 200, but it's not even, dude. Like, I just don't. It's hard to like this as much. Again, CMC last week plus 155, plus 170 with no money line included. So this is probably not the play I'm going to this week. Just isn't.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any other guys. We'll have to look and see if there's any other guys we could do that with this week,
Yeah.
Something like that, like a Pacheco. We talked about it a little bit. Pacheco would be one that's interesting.
I believe they were both over plus 200, right? When we looked at it, it was like plus 240 for first half and plus 240 second half. And then 2+ touchdowns was plus 490. So a lot to like there.
I like it. But yeah, I think Eagles smash this game. That's it. That's all you need to know. Eagles are going to win. I think we've got some good angles, and I like talking through some of that kind of stuff. I like doing those things where you can bet on 2 or 3 outcomes. You need one to hit, and then you cash. You get all your money back and you make a small profit. If 2 cash, you're making a good profit. If all 3 cash and you go nuclear, like it's a really big night, So
yeah,
taking things you like. All right,
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, because we are here giving an hour and 30 minutes of our time. By all means, let's drop our links in chat. for the peoples. So if you guys want to, this will go across both our channels. If you guys want to grab either of our VIP links, you guys can grab those. We'll pop them in the chat. You can grab them in the description section and our profiles and all that stuff on Twitter and YouTube. So if you'd like to support us that way, please, by all means, do so. And if not, come on back next week. We'll be here each and every week indefinitely. David and I want to do this in the off season as well. And if you're just here for the freebies and want to support the show, at the very least, like it, subscribe, tune in with us, and we're going to try to line your pockets every single Saturday.
We had a good first week. I mean,
great first week.
Come on. One of the best I've seen out there. So what more? I mean, what more are you looking for? What more are you looking for than a huge week one? Hopefully week two is as fruitful as week one was. But if nothing else, I mean, we had a good time. The shows are fun, if nothing else.
My favorite hour and a half every single week, spending time with my brother-in-law here, talking fantasy football, talking sports betting, just talking sports in general. Thank you all for watching today. We wish you the best of luck. Hope you get paid out there. David, do you want to do your standard send-off into week two?
Going to be rooting for my boy Achiwiwi tonight. Raul Rosas Jr. in the big UFC fight. It was a great week. NFL is back. It's only week 2, but before you know it, we'll be saying it's week 7, week 8, week 12, week 15. So enjoy it while it's here, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great weekend with your families.
Peace.